At it again. Listen, we're going to be talking Jets. We got to talk preseason. We're going to be talking about it all. Hold on 1 second, folks. Connect the audio. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
One. Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it, back at it, back at it again. I'm back at it again, man. Listen, we have so much to discuss. There is so much going on with the New York Jets, okay? We know that we got training camp that has continued on. We got to discuss some of the things that have gone on in practice. You know what I mean? Let me tell you, that boy Will McDonald's flashing. So is Jamin Sherwood, okay? Aaron Rodgers been doing his thing. Protection's been a little spotty, though. We're going to discuss all of these things and still no Hassan Riddick. I'm just saying, we're going to talk about all of that stuff, okay? We also got a preseason game coming up against the Commanders, all right? A lot of discussion surrounding that, too. We're going to see what happens in that. We got to talk about that, too. And, we're going to discuss all the things that are happening. Also got a special guest coming on tonight, all right? We're going to have a lot of fun. So before I get into it, okay, again, the call-in number is 515-602-9639. Let me start up the show, man. Listen, I am the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth, folks, about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks got to do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. Okay? I really do. I truly enjoy it. All right? I am also on iTunes as well. Going over to iTunes, check out the podcast on there. You get the audio. Okay, going over to iTunes, type in The Long Beach Joe Show. Okay, subscribe to the podcast on there. Okay, give me a 5-star rating and leave me some feedback on there too. All right, I appreciate y'all. All of the folks that do that. And again, I want to thank all of the listeners, overseas listeners, everybody that listens to me, period, no matter where you are and where you are from. Okay. But especially my overseas folks, because you're so far away. It's crazy. You know, people hit me up like, hey, Joe, I listened to you. I'm like, whoa, where you at? I'm in the UK. I'm in Germany. I'm here. I'm there. I'm like, whoa. Shocked that you're listening to your boy, but I appreciate you. And then we have that discussion, okay? I'm also on Twitter as well. Go on over to Twitter, okay? Type in @TheLongBeachJoe, @TheLongBeachJoe on Twitter. All right? Follow your boy. I'll follow you right back. And let's have that discussion. I try to have discussions. You know, I put some emphasis on the word try. I really try. A lot of people just want to argue with me. And that's cool. I'll have an argument too, I guess. All right? Y'all know how some Jets fans are. I try to be respectful. You know, some people just want to yell. Okay, well, I guess we just going to yell then, right? So come on over to Twitter, okay, @TheLongBeachJoe on Twitter. Follow me. Let's go back and forth and have that discussion. All right. I am also on YouTube as well. For those of you that do not know, some people hit me up. They go, whoa, Joe, I didn't know that, we hear the audio, we hear the podcast, we go back and forth with you on social media. We're always hearing your takes, but we never see you, you know? And a lot of ladies, they say, Joe, you're attractive. You're a handsome guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing what I can. You know what I mean? I'm not arrogant. I'm just a regular guy out here, you know, doing what I got. Doing what I got to do with what I got. You know what I'm saying? And I want to thank the ladies for that. I truly appreciate you. All right? So if you want to check out the show live on YouTube, you know, we also put content up there on the channel as well. Come on over to YouTube. Okay, type in Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. okay? And subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you'll be in the know. Also, give the content a thumbs up. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Be aware when you come over here, okay? When you come over here, you're going to have to deal with some people, okay? It's my chat, man. And I call them the savages. You want to know why? It's because they're savage. Savage! Listen, they don't care. They don't care about anything. They don't care about how you feel. If they don't like your takes, if they don't like what you're bringing to the table, if they don't like what they hear, they're going to let you know that, okay? They're going to let you know. They're a classy group of people. I'm not going to lie, all right? They're classy, but they'll let you know what time it is. And trust, nobody is safe, not even me, all right? They don't like my takes. They're going to let me know. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Michael, I see you in the building. Shogun, I see you. He says, hey, Joe, haven't checked in a minute. Been battling with some things the last few days. I look forward to riding with you again in these live streams for the next 6 months. Salute, Shogun. Good to see you in the building. All right. And I hope you get back to yourself. Hope you're feeling well. All right. GVH, I see you. E-Manning, salutes. All the savages in the chat. Again, put your thoughts in the chat as we go throughout the show. All right. I'll come to y'all as well, but I'm just one man. All right. We got a lot of callers. We're going to get to everybody. Trust. But before we get to the lines, okay, and again, we'll come to the lines in a second. Val, I see you. We'll be coming to you. Steve, all the new callers. Everyone knows that I am a huge Jets fan, right? Everyone knows this. Okay, that's what this show is all about. But I'm also from the West Coast. Grew up here. You know, the West Coast is the best coast. Everyone knows I say that constantly. You know, it's just how I feel. And I became a Jets fan, and I don't really have any ties to New York. I have friends out there and stuff, but, you know, I didn't grow up in New York. And there's many people like me that are all over the place. And guess what type of aid that they have? They have these great fan clubs that they're able to sit down with. They get together, groups of people wearing that green, bleeding green, loving this team through and through, showing up week in and week out, showing their love for this football team, riding it out, right? Through thick and thin, they're coming in and they're riding together. And tonight, we're going to have Mr. Robert Gage of the Orange County Jets fan club come on to the show and talk to us about what he's doing in Orange County with his Jet fan club. Robert, I want to welcome you to the Long Beach Joe Show. How are you doing today, my friend?
Good, Joe. It's good to be back on the show again. I want to say this is the third year that I did this with you.
I think so, yeah.
So it's always good to be back, and it's always good to listen to your takes on the Jets. So certainly looking forward to this upcoming season and talking a little bit Jets football with you.
Absolutely, Robert. And, you know, I can't wait to talk Jets with you. But before we get to that, I want to know, just like my audience as well, can you tell us what made you become a fan of the New York Jets?
Well, that's a good question. I actually get that question quite a bit. First of all, I've lived out here for pretty much most of my adult life. I went to high school down in Costa Mesa. I currently live in Whittier. But I grew up in Greenwich Village in Manhattan in New York City. And I'm an older guy, so I remember the glory days of the Jets in the 60s. I actually probably one of the few people I know that's around in our group, at least the Orange County Jet fans, who actually remember the Jets winning the Super Bowl. I was 11 when that happened. So I pretty much, the entire history of the New York Jets pretty much has taken place within my lifetime. So I go back a long ways. Why was I a Jets fan? That's actually a good question. Of course, you know, when I was growing up, at the time that I was starting to pay attention to sports, and the first team that I ever rooted for, and I still am root for, is I'm a Yankee fan. So that was the first team I ever heard of. Why I went to the Jets is actually interesting. The Giants weren't very good when I started becoming cognizant of football, and the Jets were good. They were new. I liked their colors. I liked their nickname. They played at Shea Stadium, which at the time was a state-of-the-art building. Yankee Stadium was kind of falling apart back in those days in the 60s and the early 70s. So Joe Namath was one of my heroes, and I remember when they won the Super Bowl, which was absolutely fabulous. And it's unfortunate that most of the people that I know, including you, aren't old enough to remember that. But
No.
before I go, I want to make sure I at least get another one, and we're hoping this year is a possibility that they have a good playoff run.
Oh, I'm hoping for it as well. It must be amazing. Like you said, you got to actually see them hoist that trophy, Namath, with that guarantee. I'm hoping that we get one as well.
Yeah. I remember that quite well. And to show you how long ago it was, I saw the game on a black and white TV with my dad.
Okay.
So that's how long ago it was. Color TV was. If you had color TV back in those days, you were really rich, and not many people had color TV. So that's of course, the game, for anybody that's interested, if you go on YouTube, that game is there. You can pretty much watch the game in its entirety in the NBC broadcast, which is kind of neat. So, again, let's hope for another one coming here pretty soon. I'm getting a little bit older now.
Yeah, it's about time. We haven't been in the playoffs in I think like 13 years, but we'll get to that in a second, Robert, because it's been painful. Okay, it's been painful. We both know that, but hopefully things are going to turn around coming up this season. Now, you talked about TVs, man, and it's interesting that you said you sat down, you watched TV with your father, you guys watched that game on black and white TV. Well, now, right, you got a bunch of Jets fans surrounding you all throughout the year with your fan club, and y'all sit down and watch on your big screens together or wherever you folks meet. Can you talk to us about how your fan club came about?
Wow, the fan club, it's evolved over the years, and it's definitely fluid. I would say somewhere around 96 or so, right when sports bars kind of started becoming popular and you could go to a bar and get out-of-town games. Up until, mostly in the 80s and everything, I mean, the only way you could find out a score would be watching whatever NFL game was on in the local market here in Los Angeles, and you would hope that they would give you scores, or you could turn on your radio and get KNX, or at the time KFWV, and get the scores 15 and 45 minutes past the hour. So getting information was definitely different. Now, Orange County Jet fans, we're over at the outlets of Orange at Dave & Buster's. The guy who's the manager there is from Long Island, and he grew up a Jets fan, and he definitely takes care of us. I think he reached out to Mario, who actually is I don't run the group. I'm not the head of the group. We have somebody else who actually does a really good job doing that. And he reached out to Mario and offered him a pretty good deal. Last year, especially the very first game, which was kind of obviously not a great memory as far as Jet fans goes, with Rodgers going down 4 plays into the season, but we had at least 50 people there. And there are other fans that go to there. I mean, it's a big place, Dave & Buster's in Orange. And we're not the only fan group, but they do have a room for us that is strictly for us. We have our own Orange County Jet fans banner, and every week there's always somebody new that finds out about us and comes in. And we have a pretty good group. When the team isn't doing well, obviously it thins out during the season, but last year was pretty good, even though we ended up 7-10. I think because the defense was so good and there were so many expectations, we still had a pretty good group. So again, it's an Orange County Jet fans. It's the outlets of Orange. All are welcome. It's centrally located and it's easy to get to. There's a lot of parking, except during Christmas time when everyone's shopping.
Yeah,
and you have a late game, it can be a little problematic there. But we have great TVs, and the service is great. The food is great. We actually have our own assigned waitresses, and they actually have Jets jerseys, and they come wait on us. So It is a lot of fun, and hopefully this year is going to be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, hopefully it is. And again, we're speaking with Robert of the Orange County Jets fan club. Now, Robert, you talked about, meeting with Jets fans and how you folks celebrate and you have a good time. Like you said, you even have waitresses that have Jets jerseys that serve you and have a great time with you as well. But I know down there in Orange County, it's a mixed bag. There's a lot of different fans down there, man. What is it like being a Jet fan in your local area?
That's actually interesting. The one thing about Southern California, as you really know, because we didn't have any football team for 20 years, fan bases of a lot of teams have kind of sprung up.
Yep.
I would say the 49ers probably have more fans, maybe even more than the Raiders. There's a lot of people with Raider gear, but I think the Niners, as far as fans go, they've probably taken over. You got the Steelers, the Cowboys. Those are national brands, the Packers. So, it's not like in other sports. To give you an example, I'm a diehard New York Knicks fan. I root for all New York teams. I got the Knicks, the Rangers, the Jets, and the Yankees. Now, here in this town, everyone's a Laker fan. So wearing a Knicks jersey around town or a Knicks T-shirt, people look at you because almost everyone's a Laker fan. I think you are too, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely. You all purple and gold all day.
Okay,
you've been a fan for years.
So it's not people. It's not like there's so many other teams that are fans, so you just kind of blend in with everybody else. So every once in a while, you'll run into somebody who's a Jet fan. But as again, we have a pretty good group in Orange County. Again, it started back in the '90s. We used to go to a place, several different places over the years. There was a bar in Long Beach called the Green Dog, which is a full-on Jets bar.
Yep.
The owner was a Jets fan. And he had a pool table with the Jets logo in the middle of it.
Yep, I remember.
So
that.
I mean, it's kind of evolved over the years, and here we are, all these years later, and it's a combination of people like myself that are transplanted New Yorkers, or somebody who had a dad grew up in New York, or people that for whatever reason just like the name or the colors. I get a lot of that all the time. I like green. Okay, that's why I was a kid, and I liked airplanes. So we had a different group there. So half the people are probably from the New York area. Everybody else is somebody like yourself who, for whatever reason, you decided to punish yourself for the rest of your life by rooting for the Jets, and that's fine. Misery loves company. You're more than welcome. I'm just kidding on that. You know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but, it's been rough.
Yeah,
Robert.
I don't. As I said, if I walk around wearing a Yankee jersey, Dodger fans will look at me crooked. But if you wear a Jets shirt, I mean, there's so many people, so many other teams that it's not that big of a deal, actually.
Yeah. It is, like you said, it is a mixed bag. You got Raiders fans down there too. They're the worst of the worst. They just don't stop. Of course, Chargers fans, they're all, scattered about. They're fair weather fans.
Yeah, by the way, my son is a Raiders fan.
Oh, my goodness.
And my daughter's a Steelers fan. So, what are you going to do?
Oh, Robert, you already know then. That fan base is insane, and they just don't stop. But, yeah, here we are, bleeding green.
Yeah, look, they're passionate.
They are.
They're passionate, so I give them anybody who's passionate about your team. I'm okay with whoever you root for. If you're passionate for the team and you love sports, that's all I care about.
Yeah, they're passionate, but sometimes they get crazy. They can get wild. But as we continue to talk about what's going on here and everything, that you've done with your Jets fan club is phenomenal, man. But I want to talk to you about this football team and everything that we've got going on here.
Sure,
Robert. What are your thoughts on Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas being on the hot seat going into this upcoming season? There's a lot of Jets fans.
It's well deserved.
Oh, talk to me.
It's well deserved that they're on the hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, look, here's the thing. Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, everybody wanted them. I mean, I belong to several Facebook and Instagram Jet fan clubs, and everybody wanted Saleh. Everyone wanted Douglas. So obviously it's been a bit there have been some draft choices that have been questionable. There have been some draft choices that have been good. There have been some trades that have been good and some trades that have not been good. So, yeah, I mean, they really need to step it up this year. I think if the team kind of is a 6 or 7 win team, I believe they'll be gone. I honestly believe they do need to make the playoffs for them to keep their job, and maybe that's good that there's a little bit of pressure there. But at the end of the day, injuries are going to really be the key. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers didn't get hurt 4 plays into the season, I mean, they were 7-10. They would easily have won 3 or 4 more games. I'm not saying they would have beaten the Chiefs or anything, but they certainly would have been a playoff team, no question about that. So if injuries hold up and we're good in that area, and Rodgers plays the whole season, I'm very optimistic about this season.
What do you say? Because personally myself, I think that if they make the playoffs, they're safe. But there's a lot of Jets fans, Robert, that I spoke with. I had a show recently that were saying, Joe, making the playoffs is not enough. There's a lot of Jets fans are thinking either you get to the championship game or to the Super Bowl, And if you don't do either one of those things, you should be gone. What do you say to Jets fans that believe they have to go far in the playoffs to still be here, or they think that they should be gone?
I think it kind of depends on how I think it depends on how the season goes. I think there's a good chance they can win the division. I think if they win the division and have a home playoff game and win a playoff game at home, I mean, that would actually be, I don't want to say it's good enough. I mean, nothing's ever good enough. You know,
Okay.
I mean, the Knicks had a great playoff run last year, and so did the Rangers, but at the end they weren't good enough. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really hard. It's really hard to say. I think at the end of the day, if they get to a situation where, give you an example, let's say they play the Cincinnati Bengals in a divisional playoff game at MetLife Stadium, divisional playoff game, and they lose 34-31 in overtime. You know, I mean, that's to a really good team, or they lose to the Chiefs in a really close game.
Yeah.
You know, that it's hard to you know, it's hard to, because you know how these games are. A lot of this is luck too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these games go down to the wire. I mean, look at the Super Bowl. The 49ers had a very good chance to win the game, and a couple of mistakes ended up losing. So one play here, one play there. You know, we want to see the team be competitive again, and 13 years is a long time. And they look the last few years like they've gotten some great young talents: Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. I mean, they had a good draft this year, I think, and they made some great free agent signings. So, yeah, I mean, at some point in time, I mean, if they get a wild card game, if they get in a wild card and they lose 30-10 to the Chiefs or something, I mean, that might be a little bit disappointing. But right now, it's just one game at a time. San Francisco's the first game. It's not an easy game, but it's okay to get a good, hard game out of the way. So just 1 week at a time, one play at a time, you know, one call at a time, and hopefully as things go, the season goes on. The seasons are fluid. You know, it's a book. It's a mystery. It starts with one game, and then as the season goes, injuries and all of the teams and things. We'll see how it ends.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully it's a good ending.
Absolutely. And speaking of hopefully it's a good ending, I'm hoping that Hassan Riddick ends this holdout at some point, and I'm hoping that the Jets – I'm hoping that the Jets and him find some type of resolution to this situation. I mean, he has not shown up to anything. No voluntary stuff, none of the mandatory stuff. Yeah. He's been holding out all the way into camp. I think it's like day 15 at this point. What are your thoughts on this situation and this holdout of Hassan Reddick, Robert?
It's a sore subject. It's a sore subject with me. And this is one of the things where I think Joe Douglas made a mistake, because here's the deal. They had Bryce Huff. They drafted him. They developed him. They developed this kid. And he goes to the Eagles to basically replace Reddick. You know, so maybe the Eagles knew something that we didn't, but that's the one thing about this whole training camp and this whole situation now, which is kind of a dark cloud hanging over everybody's head, because, yeah, they definitely need him. And there's no question. Look, they got depth at that position. Yeah. You know, they got good edge rushers, but he's a guy who's a veteran, who's been around a while, who's played on championship-type teams that have been very good and very well coached. So I don't know the salary cap thing. That's a Joe Douglas thing. You know, I just hope that I figure at some point they'll probably get it resolved. I mean, he probably doesn't want to sit out the whole season, you know. And at some point in time, they got to figure out all the fines that are piling up and things like that. But yeah, that's the one thing that's really kind of not really looking good for the Jets as they get ready for the start of the season, which 9 a.m. this Saturday morning against the Commanders.
Yeah. I mean, that's the upcoming preseason game. I tell you what, Robert, I'm worried. Me personally, I think it's really looking like this could possibly lead into the season where he's going to hold out. I think that he understands that he has a lot of leverage. This could be his last payday. Like you said as well, we had Huff right there. I was hoping that we would bring Huff back, but we didn't, and the Eagles immediately made the move. And I don't understand how Joe Douglas, even during the trade talks, spoke with him, offered him a contract he declined, and he still made the trade to bring the guy into the building. Because the only reason why Hassan Riddick was even available in the first place was because the Philadelphia Eagles said, we are not going to deal with him in this contract situation. That was the only reason he was ever even available. Exactly. That was it. Okay, we know he's
exactly, and you know,
we know he's great. We know the accolades, but the Eagles said we're not dealing with it. Give me your thoughts, Robert.
the team 90 miles down the turnpike seem to kind of know what they're doing a little bit, and that's everything you said I agree with. It's not a good situation. I hope it gets resolved soon, because I just, everything was going so well so far this year. I mean, everyone likes the draft. Everyone likes the free agents they brought in.
Yep.
You got guys like Wilson and Sauce Gardner that are now really coming into the time of their career where they're going to be impact players, even more so than they've been before. So, yeah, it's that dark cloud. We want to see it go away. No question about it.
That's a fact. That's a fact, Robert. Listen, you've been giving us some great takes. My final question before I let you go, you said, everyone liked the draft. What was your favorite draft pick this past draft that the New York Jets had?
Well, one thing you probably don't know about me, maybe you do, I don't know if I mentioned before, is my college team is Penn State.
Oh,
growing up in New York City, there's no team. Penn State is like 200 miles from Manhattan, so I kind of adopted them. They're kind of a quasi-local team in that area. They've got them and Notre Dame probably have a lot of support. I mean, Rutgers is close, but they're not. Oli Fasano, I don't know if I said his name right. You think I would know his name?
Olu Fasano.
But Oli Fasano.
Olu Fasano.
You're the pro with the radio show, not me, right? So Oli Fasano, yeah, he. I was really happy. I was really happy they drafted him. It's always good to have your one of your players on your college team join your pro team. So, and it's good is that he's going to get a chance to sit.
Yep.
Tyron Smith is above him on the depth chart, so he can sit. And if he gets hurt, plug him right in. He'll be young, and hopefully he'll learn from. They got some good pros up there now on the offensive line. Though one thing has worried me a little bit about the offensive line. Just changing topics quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Joe Pittman has apparently had some issues at training camp.
Yep.
Hiking the ball over Rodgers' head, and that's kind of problematic. I really like him as a player. I think he developed well last year, but he's starting to get that thing like Steve Sachs used to have, where he used to throw the ball, couldn't get the ball to first base from second base.
Yep.
And it started kind of in his head, so I'm kind of worried about that a little bit, but hopefully that resolves itself.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that as well. I know he had some issues Saturday in practice as well. Just recently this practice, I guess things kind of cleaned up, but we saw it in the past too. I'm hoping it's not something that leaks into the season. He didn't have those issues last season, so we'll see as things continue to play out. But that's a great point, Robert. And even going back to what you said about Olu Fasanu, I like the move as well to draft him in the first round. I wanted him from the very beginning because I want to shore up that tackle position, that left tackle position, right? Even after Rodgers, whoever the quarterback is, we need to make sure that he's protected. We've seen what happens when you don't properly protect your quarterback. We saw it last season. It costed us everything. So, especially with Tyron Smith having the major injuries issues that he's had, we've seen that with him in the past, even Morgan Moses, and both of those guys are basically on one-year deals. So once you move on from either one of those guys, guess what? Olu Fasanu can slide into those positions because he could be on right tackle spot as well if we want to keep him there too. So I like the move. I loved bringing in Olu. I think it was a great move for Joe Douglas to, figure out this offensive line position. So that was a great point there, Robert. Now, before I let you go, can you please give my entire audience again all of the ways that they can contact the Orange County Jets fan club, where you folks meet, and how they can get involved with everything that you do?
Sure. So, again, Dave & Buster's at the Outlets of Orange in Orange, California. It's, stone throw from Angel Stadium, actually, and we've got a big facility down there. There is a Facebook page, Orange County Jets Fans. Just Google Orange County Jets Fans. I think you'll get a bunch of hits. You'll find out where we're at. And I know there's an Instagram page as well. And there's a lot of content that's posted usually after the game. Hey, I've got one question for you before we end our conversation today.
Yeah, go ahead.
Changing subjects completely, I want to know, what is your take on the rebranding of the Jets logo back to the 1978 through 89 green and white, the Kelly green? They got rid of the uniforms from last year, which I like the color, but the whole New York on the front and the striping I thought was weird. What is your take on that? And they're also going to bring back the 68 uniforms, one game this year.
Yeah.
Which are like the uniforms that they had prior, but it's not dark green. It's going to be the Kelly Gotham green, so to speak. I was wondering what your take was on that.
I love them. I absolutely love them. I think they look phenomenal. I like the rebranding of the logo as well, and I'm hoping that this is going to build momentum. And I know I don't, because I've gone on rants about this before. I'm hoping that this, this new look, new feel, rebranding the logos, doing the stuff with the jersey really helps them integrate more with the fan base and start to figure out how to get this momentum and how to get this emotion into the stadium. Because I think that the stadium experience is horrible. That needs to be fixed as well. The look is great. Now we got great jerseys. We're feeling good. Everybody's positive. Of course, we got the talent as well. But I want to see them also attack the stadium experience and figure out how to integrate more with the fans, get them more of a feel in there. I feel like going to the stadium these days is really, really bunk for a lot of fans, especially myself. I fly there, and often when I go to games, I don't feel like I'm going to the Jet Stadium. I feel like I'm going to another stadium. It's filled with other fans. The prices of things are extremely high. I don't understand why there aren't, other Jets, like older Jets players, Wayne Corbett, Lavernius Coles. These guys should be around. Chad Pennington, we should see him, all over the place. These guys should be leading the Jets chant. I've talked about this. Often I've gone to games and, that big Jumbotron that they have up there, I look up and I'm watching the Patriots and somebody else play while the Jets are on the field live. That doesn't happen anywhere else in the NFL outside of the Jet Stadium.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
The stadium is kind of an issue for a lot of people. It's a functional stadium and the sidelines are good, but it's because the Jets and the Giants did it together, it was very generic and very plain looking. So I don't know if that'll ever be resolved. The bottom line is right now I just want to win games. I don't care where they play.
Yeah, we'll see what happens going forward. But the uniforms, I think they look phenomenal, and I like the rebrand of the logo as well. Before I let you go, what are your thoughts on it quickly?
On the uniforms?
Yeah, the uniforms and the logo. Do you like?
I love the rebranding. I love that logo. Matter of fact, oddly enough, the very first game that they changed their uniforms, which was in September of 1978 when Richard Todd was the quarterback, Wesley Walker, that team. I was at that first game, opening day, where they introduced those new uniforms. And I definitely like. They're simple looking. They're clean. They look good. The logo, the Jet logo, is a classic logo, and I'm really glad they brought it back. A lot of fans have been bugging Woody Johnson for a long time about that. And
yep.
I think he finally realized, though. One of my friends over at the Gotham City crew. Shout out to the Gotham City crew at MetLife Stadium. They were very, very happy about that. They were like, "Look, at least give us the uniforms we want, even if we can't."
Yeah. I'm telling you, Jets fans have been screaming to go back and rebrand things and get a new look, and I really like what the Jets have done. I also like they had the black jerseys. I forgot
that's going to look good too.
Yeah, those are phenomenal too. I love the look, and I love what they've done, Robert. So before I let you go again, I want to thank you for coming on to the Long Beach Joe Show, Robert. It's been a phenomenal time speaking with you. You gave us some great takes. You have yourself a good night, my friend.
You too, Joe. Take care of yourself, and let's look forward to a good season.
Absolutely. Go Jets. Again, everyone, that was Robert Gage of the Orange County Jets fan club. Phenomenal takes from him, all right, giving us great thoughts on this New York Jets football team. Please, everyone, go get involved with everything they're doing over there in Orange County. It's a great Jets fan club, all right? They get together and they show, hey, we love this team and we bleed green, all right? So we're going to quickly get into these subjects. Callers, I'll come to you in a second. Val, will come to you. We missed you last week. I apologize, everybody. Technical difficulties. I don't even want to get into it, all right? But we're going to get to everybody tonight. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Okay, we'll come to you. Now, really quickly, okay, for those of you that do not know, Hassan Reddick, he still ain't showing up, baby. Are you shocked? He still ain't here. He still ain't here. Hey, you know what's crazy is that when I was the guy that was so concerned about this, right? So concerned about him not showing up to camp, after not showing up to mandatory mini camps, I was told by people that I was crazy. Joe, don't worry about it. Joe, he's just, everything's going to be okay, Joe. He'll be there. Hey, we'll figure things out. Hey, we'll get him a new contract. Hey, Joe, shut up. Okay, cool. I think it's 15 days and counting now, right? I think it's 15 days. 14 or 15, right? He hasn't been at camp. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And for those of you that are just saying, well, okay, we'll just get into the season. We'll figure things out. Look, we've seen this. We've seen this where guys miss the OTAs, then they miss mandatories. They don't show up to camp. Then it bleeds into the season. And then when they finally do sign, we see that sometimes those guys suffer injuries, right? Hamstring injuries that hinder them. We've seen this before throughout the league. I'm worried about this because this guy is not the normal guy, all right? He's a really good player that's asking, according to reports, all right, for 22 to 25 million per season. Double-digit sacks for the last 4 years. He's done it at the highest levels. We've seen it. He's been on great teams. Come on. I'm just wondering, when is this guy going to show up? Because if he don't, the only proven pass rusher we have is Jermaine Johnson, and he's never had double-digit sacks. And for those of you that are saying Super Bowl or bust, all these teams that are making pushes in the playoffs, they have multiple guys that rush the passer. I love Will McDonald. I was one of the only guys that liked the pick. He didn't play much last year. This year, you're asking him to come in and have double-digit sacks. He's got to have pressure off the bat. So we're going to see what happens as we continue to go forward. Aaron Rodgers in the offense, okay, in camp today. It was kind of up and down, all right? You know, especially, you know, with protection. Protection's got to get cleaned up. But I tell you what, Breece Hall is balling. Breece Hall is balling, baby. I mean, are you surprised? I mean, he's been great since he got here, right? Coming off the Achilles injury, the ACL, we were all concerned, right? Oh, well, what is Breece going to come back like? Thank goodness we got Dalvin Cook. He smoked everything last season. Looked crazy. Looked like nothing happened to him. Now he's coming into this year with an upgraded offensive line, right? We were waiting for them to gel, but Breece Hall looks amazing. Coming out of the backfield, he's shifty, making moves. He's also catching balls coming out of the backfield for big gains. So he looked good today, all right? I can't wait to go into the season and see what he's going to be able to do, all right? So I'm really, really hoping that the protection gets cleaned up a little bit. I think Aaron Rodgers was 9 of 16 today. He would have got sacked 3 times. He also was talking to a lot of players, man, coaching guys up, especially the offensive line. You know, they gathered around him at one point where he was talking to them about cleaning things up. And that's what you want to see from a guy like Aaron Rodgers, right? I mean, this guy is phenomenal. We all know he's going to be a Hall of Famer easily, right? First ballot. And he wants to win, okay? He wants to win. So we saw that last season where if things needed to be talked about, he wanted to clean things up. He was absolutely going to make sure that he got that done. We've seen him and Garrett Wilson go back and forth on the sidelines as well and have those discussions. Also, Joe Tippmann, Robert just kind of talked about that earlier. Joe Tippmann and his snaps has been a little concerning. Now, you know, his snapping was all right today, okay, but we saw snaps over Rodgers' heads all over the place. He's got to clean that up, especially going into the season, all right? Saturday, he had some snaps, but, you know, he's improved as of recent. Also, the guy I just spoke about, the guy that has big expectations on top of him, especially if Hassan Riddick, that situation plays into the season, Will McDonald. Will McDonald has been showing some real good signs, He's put together some really good practices. Man, he's using that length to get around. He's bending around guys. He beat Morgan Moses for a sack. He's been looking really, really solid. So I'm excited about him going into the season. Also, some injury updates here as well. Xavier Gibson back out on the field. But, of course, Michael Carter II dealing with an ankle injury. He was still out. Malik Taylor is still dealing with an injury, and so was Tack McKinley as well. Also, Jamin Sherwood. Whew, that guy is shining. Jamin Sherwood has been making plays out there. He's running with guys. He's doing a lot of things. He had an interception recently as well off a deflected pass of Aaron Rodgers. That's another guy that a lot of people don't talk about that I've been speaking about that I expect big things from. This is going to be a big year for him, a big, big year. All right, I'm expecting big things from this guy. So we'll see what happens going forward, but he's been looking good. Also, the Jets' practices have been a little chippy. You know what I'm saying? The boys is out there scrapping, all right? It's been a little razzle-dazzle. They've been shaking and baking with each other, you know? People getting hands put on them. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
This is football. This is football, okay? But, Sulla had to talk to some of the guys, okay? He basically told them, hey, be responsible, okay? No cheap shots, all right? You can get chippy, but don't get too crazy, all right? Be responsible. But, it's football, baby, all right? This is camp. It's the dog days. We into it. We also got a Commanders preseason game coming up. For those of you that do not know, the coach over there, Quinn, said that Jaden Daniels will play against the Jets on Saturday. So, you know what I'm saying? That's the guy they brought into the building, Also, the Jets released their depth chart, okay, their first depth chart, and there were some shocking things on that depth chart. Brownlee on the depth chart was behind Taylor and Charles. Clemens on the depth chart was ahead of Will McDonald, and Izzy Anabanakanda was fourth on the depth chart, behind two rookie running backs, Isaiah Davis and Braylon Allen. Wow. We're going to have that discussion. Listen, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. I am taking all callers. I want to have this discussion with everybody, all right? There's a lot to talk about. Salutes to all the Savages in the chat. Listen, Savages, I will come to y'all. Put your thoughts in the chat. I'll come to you in between the calls. I'm one man, but I want to hear from you, all right? Y'all go after each other constantly. I love it. All right? I want to hear the takes. Bernard Nixon salutes. Savage, he says, Joe, who would you take, Rodgers or Favre? I'll take Aaron Rodgers. I would take Aaron Rodgers, all right? I love Aaron Rodgers, okay? Everyone knows that. All right? Keep putting your thoughts in the chat, okay? Dang, man. Izzy fourth on the depth chart. Am I making too much of it? Some people, have been like, hey, Joe, it's not a big deal. Listen, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Please subscribe if you haven't already, all right, to the channel. Also hit that notification bell. Click all so that when I put content out, you will be in the know. When the streams go live, you will be in the know, all right? Also, give the streams and videos a thumbs up. Share the channel across your social media with your friends and your family, okay? We're getting to the callers. For those of you that are on the lines, please make sure you have a good phone line, okay? Don't call me from a phone that you found in a Home Depot dumpster. Also, I have one rule on my show pretty much, okay? One rule. Don't curse. I'm calling to my show cursing. Don't do that, okay? If you curse, I got to get you out of here fast. I'm talking fast. Faster than Izzy can be fourth on the depth chart. Ugh. Faster than Hassan Riddick can hold out. Oh, that was fast. Whew. It was fast. What? What now, Savages? Are you upset? I made a Hassan Riddick joke, okay? What? It's too soon? He's the one holding out, not me. I'm not doing it. I would show up to camp. I would have already been there. I would have been at all the voluntary stuff. I would have been at mandatory mini camps. I would have clearly shown up to training camp. It's not on me. It's on Hassan, okay? We'll see. 22 to 25 million. That's what he's asking for, according to reports, all right? So we're getting to this line again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. First caller we're going to Val. We missed Val last week. We got to get to Val. Steve, Max, Ted, we are coming to you, Ted. I definitely want to hear from you, Steve, everybody as well. New callers, hold on, because we got to get to Val. Okay, listen. For those of you that do not know, the circus has begun. It's coming early, okay? It's here very, very early. For those of you that do not know, okay, Val, listen, Val is a savage. Savage! Val salutes. I want to welcome you to the show. We're having this discussion, man. Hassan Riddick still not in the building. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Salute, Joe. Thank you for having me, man. And listen, man, like I said, be careful, man, because the definition of character is an all-time high, man. I guess they cut us off last time, right before you even suggested all that, conclusion and allegations. But yeah, so about Hassan Reddick, man. I was listen. It's very concerning, man, because I really wanted him in, this jet facility. I wanted him to get to know his new teammates because, like I said, if you hold out, it's a guarantee that you might get injured during the season because you need to train your body to get ready for that game shape and get your body ready for because you can do a lot of stuff on your own, but it's different when you're actually having contact, actually getting your timing down with your teammates, and actually, having that communication.
Yep.
And that further that, if he gets holding out, it's actually hurting himself and also the team as well too, because I think all that time could have definitely went to, Will McDonald learning a lot from Hassan Reddick and also Jermaine Johnson. He's still learning position as well too. But hopefully that situation gets settled ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah, you sound a little muffled, Val. I don't know if you can come a little bit closer to your phone. You sound just a little muffled. But no, listen, you're giving us some great takes right there. And so my question, say it again.
Much better?
Yes, much better, much better. So my next question for you is, because you're saying, you're hoping things get settled. I personally believe that this might go into the season. And we've seen this in the past with guys like Chris Jones, right? Chris Jones is a great example. That went into the season. I was like week.
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah, he. I think he missed like week 1, and then the Chiefs realized, we need this guy on the field ASAP, and he went out there. I think that this ends up going into the season, though, Val. And so I want you to put your GM hat on. I'm going to make you Joe Douglas right now. What contract offer are you willing to give Hassan Reddick that you think will settle this issue and get him in the camp? What is the highest you're willing to go per year? Because according to reports, right, at this point, he wants between 22 and 25 million. What are you willing to do here?
I'm willing to negotiate and tell him, listen, we have to, think about this year as well too. I will give him fully guaranteed the amount of money that he wants.
So you're giving him 25 million fully guaranteed, Val?
For this year, for only 1 year.
Wow. Okay.
Only 1 year.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, because we might have to move on from him after that, because the thing, I want Hassan Reddick, but you got to think about Garrett Wilson. He's still the person that we still have to convince to stay here, and he's not going to take no pay cut because he makes it very clear every single year. Listen, I don't like what's going on here. He's the odd person that I'm worried about re-signing.
Mm-hmm.
Breece Hall, you got to think about, the Achilles situation as well, too. But we want Breece Hall here. And I feel like Breece Hall is going to stay here. But I feel like he's going to, if Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner and Jermaine Johnson gets the contract, I think Breece Hall is going to be the person that we might, try to play with when it comes to money, because he's a running back. And I also think that's why we got a lot of running backs in this, and on the team now and stuff like that. But other than that, Sauce Gardner, he said he wants to be a Jet for life and he loves New York.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about Sauce Gardner. He's definitely going to get his money. He can get his money today. I'm ready to sign him up today. But yeah, Garrett Wilson's the person that I'm worried about. But bringing him back to Hassan Reddick, yes, I as much as I love Hassan Reddick, as much as I feel like he would dominate and dominate in this team, and who's gonna double? It's like, who you gonna double team? Will McDonald or Jermaine Johnson, or the list goes on, Quentin Williams and everything. But I feel like he's gonna really kill on this defensive line. But you got to just think about it contractually wise.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have to get him, locked down for at least 1 year, and then move on from him, because we obviously dropped the ball when it comes to that Bryce Huff situation. And again, another learning curve from Jimmy for Joe Douglas. That's another learning curve for him.
Boy, that was
he should have definitely took care of him.
That's a massive. Listen, I hear what you're saying. A 1 year deal. You basically, if he meets, and of course, if you get that done before the season starts, I would think that he would meet all of the standards and the, whatever it is, the contractual obligations. So that now we have to give away that second rounder for 1 year from him too. Oh, that's But I get
I
it because
know.
he's
But we got to think
asking.
about the future as well too.
Yeah, and I mean he's asking for major money, and that's the big thing. I mean, you brought up Sauce Gardner, like you said. Listen, Sauce is going to get paid. He's literally the best corner in the league. He's not coming cheap. You talked about Garrett
Absolutely.
Wilson not coming cheap either. Neither is Jermaine Johnson.
And still on the fence of
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
I mean, you
And
like you
he
said,
just
Brees
had an
Hall too.
outstanding
But there's
season.
other guys as well that people don't talk about. Listen, AVT's coming up for a
VT.
contract.
Yep.
I don't know if y'all
Michael
think he's
Carter.
coming cheap. He's not either. Neither is Michael
Reed.
Carter. Yeah, you talk
So-
DJ Reed. There's a lot of guys that's coming up, and so
Yep.
the money management is crazy. But that was it's a tough mistake, man. Especially when Huff literally only got 17 million. We could have easily have given him that. Easily. I'm talking easily.
We could have gave him that.
Yeah.
We could have gave him that.
Real easy. But
And
that's-
we wouldn't have to worry about the situation, man.
yeah. Yeah. No, you're talking facts. And again, the only reason why Hassan was even available was because of the contract issue in Philly. They did not want to deal with that. And they moved on as quickly as possible, and they had no issues ridding themselves of him and giving him to the Jets. No problem whatsoever. We'll take that third, turn it to a second, have a good one. Bryce Huff, get on in here. And they made that move. Now, as we continue to talk about this team and what's been going on here, there's a lot of things been happening in Camp, Val. One of those things has been Tippmann. He's had some snap issues. Now, he was clean today, in camp at practice, but are you concerned about these high snap issues that he's having really leaking into the season?
Man, oh man, listen. If this continues to happen, we might have to call the center that we had last year, Connor. I'm guessing that's his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, we might have to get him back if this continues to happen. But hopefully they get the timing down and everything. We still have preseason, so he's definitely going to be playing the preseason because he has to clean that up. And hopefully the coaches, our great offensive line coach will definitely get him ready and everything like that. That everybody loves that offensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, he gets that together and everything.
Yeah.
But hopefully he gets it together, man, because we're gonna need him to snap the ball, to Aaron Rodgers. We don't have to worry about him running all the way back because I've seen that clip and him possibly getting hit because
Yep.
we don't need nothing like that to happen because that would be tragic. And you could just see that in a regular game. That would be terrible if that ever happened and everything like that. So, we definitely need to get Aaron Rodgers protected, and he has to get that timing down. Even though this is his second year, you got to go up very fast because this team is trying to get a Super Bowl win. We're not just trying to make the playoffs. We're trying to get a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to get to that big game.
Yeah.
But shout out to Alan Lazard. He turned it around. Hold on. I'm sorry. Yeah. Shout out to Alan Lazard. He turned it around. I guess he heard our conversation because I'm hearing some good things. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. I just want to give him a little shout out as well too. But I do need to see it during the season, even though you're still going to be out of here next year.
Oh.
But keep doing your thing.
Now, you talked about, listen, I've given Alan Lazard his kudos. Hopefully this is all about building momentum and getting into the season. I want the Alan Lazard that I was raving about on this show when we signed him. I was like, oh, man, this guy was a great target for Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I loved it. But he came here and he's turned into a bum. Okay? This season, hopefully things turn around. He's been looking solid in camp. He's been making plays, making catches. And it seems like Aaron Rodgers being back out there has just completely turned things around for him. I just need to see that, like you said as well, into the season. Now, talking about preparing for the season, there's some Jets fans that want to see Aaron Rodgers and this starting offense play throughout the preseason. There's Jets fans that I've spoken to that have said, listen, we don't just want to only see him play in that third game. They want to see Aaron Rodgers out there, and they're saying, hey, we need to make sure that this offense builds chemistry. Do you think it would be smart for Sulla to do that? What are your thoughts on Sulla? Because he came out recently and said that he was really only thinking of playing Aaron Rodgers in that third game. Do you think that that's how he should handle the situation?
See, I knew this question was going to come up real soon because I knew this was going to come back around because I already know this is going to be a video for you, man.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just want to see him in that third game, 2 series, and that's it. Like just like how we did last year.
Really?
Just 2 series. And yeah, like last year. Like remember the first time around, it was a little bit off. and then the second time we scored a touchdown, and Garrett Wilson scored the touchdown against the Giants. We have to get that timing down a little bit because I know this is controversial. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You know this is controversial. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Yeah, like I was saying, like it was kind of controversial because, during the game against the Buffalo Bills, and I understand, the timing when he was going to pass the ball, he was a little hesitant. I watched it over and over again. He was a little hesitant to pass it to Alan Lazard, and I feel like it's because he hasn't played as much games, so he was a little bit hesitant to throw probably an interception, but he could have had that pass. But he held on to the ball because of the offensive line being bad. So, he's been seeing that. So I guess he held on to it a little bit too long and then he got hit. But Breece Hall definitely showed out in that game. But other than that, I do want to see him at least 2 series in that third game for sure.
That's
but
it.
Other
So
than that, I don't want to see him no more until the regular season.
Okay. Listen, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. And I'm just going to say this.
Let's go.
The Jets have a lot of new pieces on offense. A lot of new pieces along this offensive line. Tyron Smith, Simpson, you got Morgan Moses. Hey, guess what? You got AVT coming back from a big injury, right? He hasn't played in a minute. You got Mike Williams. You got, Malachi Corley. You got a lot of new pieces here trying to pick up this offense with a lot of big expectations. You talked about going into the season. They only played that third game, and then guess what? We got into the season. Things looked really sloppy in that first game. Really sloppy. Anybody remember that? Literally,
absolutely.
Nobody was blocking for Aaron Rodgers. He was running for his life. And that was before he got hurt. That was before he got the big injury. A lot of people don't remember that. I remember it like it was yesterday. He barely got away from multiple sacks.
Don't worry about Deuce Brown. He's going to be back. Don't worry about Deuce Brown. He doesn't need to practice. He's a professional.
Listen. This is what that you're completely correct. This is what was said. Listen, I remember that. Oh, he's a professional. He's a pro, Joe. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Dwayne Brown. Listen, this offensive line needs to gel quickly. And one of the ways that they can gel even quicker is being out there on the field together. I'm not saying that they should run a half or even a quarter. But me personally, I would not mind seeing Aaron Rodgers and the starting offense at least get a couple plays or a series in every game. Because guess what? You're coming out of the gate against San Francisco. You're coming out the gate against San Francisco. And if you are not hot coming out that gate, all right, and we got other teams as well kind of early. The Bills are going to – we know there's teams there that have pass rushers. If you are not ready and this offense isn't, running – man, we're going to have some issues. And there's big expectations. You go in there and not be able to block the Niners properly, boy, oh boy. Wait till you see what happens to you. You know what I'm saying? That's just my devil's advocate point.
I'm just happy Chase Young is not on our defensive line no more.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, it's going to be very interesting.
Listen, I'm kind of surprised you're saying this, Joe, because I would have thought you'd been like, do not play none of the starters. But I absolutely agree with you this time because I was going to disagree with you if you didn't say that.
Go ahead.
But I kind of disagree with every single preseason game. Mm-hmm. But I will say probably the second game or the third game. I would say only 2 series. Mm-hmm. But I understand where you're coming from because you got to come. We're going against the San Francisco 49ers, and that defense is no joke. And I am kind of glad that we have arguably the number 1 defense. And they're struggling right now. The offense is struggling sometimes. They had their ups and downs. But, again, they're going against the best defense in the NFL, which is the Jets defense, which I'm happy to say. Shout out to Robert Saleh and the team and everybody getting the defense together because I can't argue that. We have the number 1 defense, arguably. So, that's actually good preparing for them and stuff like that because, you're going to have to go against some defenses that's not going to be on our kind of level, that they're going to be scoring a lot because they've been playing against the best defense in the league. But I still want them to at least get some real game going when it comes to the preseason. So I definitely agree with you. I would say 2 games.
Yeah, listen.
2 games.
2 games, I will concede that. 2 games, I would love that. I don't just want to see him in the third game. I would like at least 2 games. Let's do that. I have no problem with that. At least 2 games.
I agree.
And it's because you got to build that momentum early. You got to. This offensive line is full of new guys in a new scheme. Even now, Tyron Smith, he's had rest days. We know, with him in his situation, the same way the Cowboys treat him. He's had rest days. They've got to figure out some way to gel. Mm-hmm. and you go into a season where your offensive line has not played together a lot, we've seen what happens when you do that. We've seen it. So that's my devil's advocate take there. That's all I'm saying. That's my devil's advocate take. I want to talk to people about that tonight. But as we continue on about our discussion, Val, now we're talking about preseason. We're talking about what's going on. Give me your thoughts, man. Who will you be keeping your eyes on? Give me a player on offense and a player on defense that you're going to be keeping your eyes on in this upcoming game against the Commanders in preseason.
Man, it's depending on who's playing. I definitely want to see Corley. I want to see how he plays as well too. My eyes is gonna definitely be on Oli. Hopefully he's playing in that game. I heard his announcement that he is gonna play, and I also want to see Izzy, man, because I'm hearing a lot of bad stuff about Izzy. I'm kind of shocked because he actually played good last year in the preseason. Of course, it was preseason, but wow. I mean, if these rookies is really outplaying Izzy like that, man, I'm kind of rooting for him because right now he's looking like he's going to be out the door to practice squad. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely seeing what's going on because from what I'm hearing is not so good. He's on the Alan Lazard type of time right now.
He's fourth on the depth chart, Val. He's fourth on the depth chart that they just released. I'm stunned. He's behind Isaiah Davis.
I'm stunned too.
He's behind Isaiah Davis. And Braylon Allen, I was like, okay, a lot of Jets fans saying that. Okay, let's see what's going on with the battle. He's behind Isaiah Davis on the chart.
I gotta see how he is.
Man,
that's crazy.
I don't know, Val. Listen, I gotta slide off, Val. I got other callers I gotta get to. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. I apologize for missing you last week. Definitely. I wanted to have that discussion with you, but technical difficulties stopped the circus. So listen, Val, next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right.
Absolutely, Joe, man. Everybody likes to subscribe to Joe and the channel, and shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Savages. And the only thing that I do have a problem is that about this team is how are we gonna function without Zach Wilson, because he was obviously one of our best offensive.
Oh my! Get out of here. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. How are we going to function without Zach Wilson? Next, we're going to Ted. Ted, we're coming to you. Max, you'll be next. Steve, you'll come up as well. I cannot wait to speak to you, Steve, but we got to get to Ted. Listen, for those of you that do not know Ted, he's a savage. Savage! Ted salutes. Thank you for calling in. We haven't heard from you in a little bit. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Listen, we're sitting here. We're talking that talk, Ted. We're talking about preseason. We got a game coming up against the Commanders, and I just had a discussion, man, about Aaron Rodgers starting offense. I would like to see Aaron Rodgers play at least 2 games. And I'm not saying the full preseason game. I'm just saying get a series with the starting offense for 2 games. Because you're going into the season immediately off the bat playing a top team in the NFL and the Niners. And I want to make sure that we're building that momentum. Guys are able to gel, that, all the new pieces are ready to go. What are your thoughts on that, man? How do you think the Jets should handle Aaron Rodgers and the starting offense in preseason?
Good. Hey, Joe. Good to talk to you again. Let me say this. I would defer to Rodgers and see where he's at in his, what level he has to be at, that he feels he could be ready for week 1. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if things changed a little now that Christian McCaffrey could be out the first game because of a calf and Ayuk may be traded. So I wonder if things are maybe a little bit, I'm not saying they're going to hide Rodgers and not play him. But I would say, I would probably go with 1 or 2 series per game.
Okay.
Depending on the scenario, as long as the line is blocking for him, let's say that.
And I think that's my biggest concern, to be completely honest. I want to make sure that this offensive line gels before the season starts. Tyron Smith has had some rest day, and Tyron Smith has been amazing since we've gotten him. Of course, he was great. The only big question about him is injuries. But, when you got Tyron Smith, you got Simpson, you got Morgan Moses, these are new pieces, AVT coming back off the injury, And then, you look at the other side, like we got other new guys here as well. Corley, is supposed to be a big part of our offense. He's, a rookie. Mike Williams. There's a lot of guys trying to figure things out here. And I just want to make sure that these guys have enough time to just, get that momentum rolling, because out the gate, you're going against the Niners. They are no joke. And look, we'll see what happens with McCaffrey, because he is dealing with that calf injury. They did say that he'll miss some weeks of practice. We'll see what happens with him, going forward. But, Ayuk we'll see what happens with that trade. That, again, we're live on a Tuesday night. It could happen while we're live, and I'll definitely hear from the Savages. But that is an unbelievable team, right? And if this offensive line can't figure out a way to gel quickly, Bosa is going to tear Aaron Rodgers' head off. And Bosa's not the only guy they got over there, but he's the big guy. So I'm just worried about that. And I understand some people wanting to hide Rodgers and all that, but listen, man, at least just give him a series. At least I'm just 2 games. Please give him a series, because if you don't, we saw what could happen. We saw what could happen when guys aren't all the way there. We saw that last season. I just don't want that this season. Now, Ted, as we continue to talk about this team, Hassan Riddick, man, still not here, right? I think it's been 15 days now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this situation, and do you think it ends before the season starts?
Joe, he's not getting 22 or 25 million. Okay, that's the first thing. He's not going to
talk to me, Ted.
He's not going to fleece. He's not going to fleece Joe Douglas or the Jets. Joe, that would set such a bad precedent for any other contract negotiation with any player on the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I'm listening.
That you come in and you almost double your salary, not quite, but and you basically force the hand of the Jets, even though I guess purportedly he gave his word and said he'd be willing to come in. And granted, he's not paid fairly. He's not the top 20 defensive lineman in the league, but that's not our fault, right? Who was negotiating his deals before, right? That's their fault.
Uh-huh.
And the deals that he signed. You know what I mean? Now, if Reddick, Joe, what would have happened if Reddick said, no, I'll agree to the trade if we negotiate? Would they not have traded him? They would have probably negotiated before.
Yeah, here's the thing, is they did try to negotiate according to reports, right? According to reports. I believe it was Connor Hughes that reported this. They did try to give him a contract during the trade process. This was before the trade was final. Tried to work some things out with him. They gave him a contract. They gave him a contract offer, right, during the trade process. He declined it. He said, "I don't want that contract," and they still made the trade. That was the shocking part for me, Ted. Hearing that again, this is according to reports. Okay, here's the deal, though. I hear exactly what you're saying, right? I don't know if the Jets are going to give him that 20 to 25 million. But the question is, what do you do? Because as much as Jets fans, and I've had discussions with tons of Jets fans, as much as Jets fans believe that the Jets have so much leverage in this situation, Hassan has a lot of leverage too. Because outside of him, the only proven pass rusher here is Jermaine Johnson, and he's never had double-digit sacks. And I can't think of any other. We have all these big expectations. Winning the Super Bowl, I've had, Jets fans from everywhere come on here. The last show I did, literally, and say it is a Super Bowl or bust season. If the Jets don't make a run, not only get to the playoffs, you better make a run in the playoffs, or we should fire Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. Hassan Riddick on the defensive side is the key for us to do that, because to make that run, you're going to have to face your Lamar Jacksons, your Josh Allens, your Herberts, Patrick Mahomes, these guys that you have to put pressure on. And if you don't consistently get pressure on them, they're going to cook you. They're going to cook you. And the Jets are a great defense, right? We do. But when we don't get pressure on people, baby, we get cooked. And, I mean, you can go back and watch that Cowboys game from last season. This is a good defense. Oh, yeah. But Dak Prescott literally just lit us up, and it was because we could not get to him. And then I think we played the Patriots after them, and we couldn't get to Mac Jones, and they beat us too. So when you look at that, you got to say, hey, the only proven pass rusher outside of Hassan Riddick is Jermaine Johnson, no double-digit sacks. There's no John Franklin Myers to fall back on. He's in Denver. Will McDonald, who I love, right? He didn't play much last season. He has to have double-digit sacks in year 2. That's a lot to ask of him. So you've got to make some type of like concessions here to get this guy into the building, because if you don't, you're in a tough situation, because it can end up with you getting fired. You won't ever have to worry about another contract signing or anything here with the New York Jets, because you won't be working here. That's a possibility if you ask some fans, true. Right? So that's where I'm coming from. I mean, give me your thoughts on that, Ted.
We're in a bit of a tough spot, but like I said, the primary thing that Joe Douglas has to do is not create a $25 million contract. You can't do that, okay? So I think the longer Reddick waits, I don't know if teams are going to like that view of him if he signs another deal later. Maybe they'll accept it, but I don't think that's a good image to portray, to negotiate like this. Maybe he should have came in and said, tweaked his hamstring or whatever, or just came in and said, hey, we're going to hash this out. Now it sounds like he wants to force his way out. Maybe that could be on the back burner. Yeah, I mean that's the way I'm looking at it. Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point. Talk.
Yeah, it's a weird thing now. Maybe he's got bad. Maybe he's feeling a little disrespected, which I kind of get. And in his mind, he's not paid fairly. But that I go back to, like I said, his agent and say, the last deal with the Eagles, he probably should have made more than $15 million. He's worth more than that. When he signed the deal, when he signed the deal, he was the highest paid rusher, right?
Yeah.
Now in the middle of that deal, maybe the agent should have said, hey man, I think my client needs a raise, and to be the highest or the top 5. That's what I think should have happened. Now he's kind of behind the 8 ball here.
Yeah. Well, I know that the stuff with the Eagles and his contract, like the leaks about there being like, some rustlage with them, some friction between them, didn't just start last season. That started, the season before that. Like, this has been something. Now, it got really bad last season, but this has been something that's been kind of talked about over there, because I definitely kept my eyes on Hassan. He was actually one of the guys I wanted to see the Jets draft the year that he came out. I thought he was going to be kind of what he is right now, which is a great pass rusher. Took him a little bit, but he found his way and really got cooking. And here we are, man, in a situation. And again, to me, it really depends on the side you listen to, because like you said as well, there are reports that, he told the Jets, yeah, I'll come in and play. Okay, fine. And the Jets just said, listen, we'll figure things out later on and we'll get you taken care of down the road, but just not right now. But there's other reports as well that have come out that have talked about how Hassan told them throughout the process, I want a new contract. Like, I don't really care about anything you guys are talking about. I want a new contract. And to me, it's kind of strange, especially if I'm Joe Douglas. I'm sitting there and I'm hearing him tell the Eagles consistently, I want a new contract. That's the only reason why he's available. Why would you put yourself in that situation? And I think a lot of this, and I get it, a lot of this falls on Joe Douglas. It falls right into his lap in this situation. So it's rough, man. It's really, really rough. Now, my last question for you on this topic is, if you were Joe Douglas, right, I'm going to let you be the general manager, what is the max that you'd be willing to give him? You said you don't want to give him $25 million per. What would make you comfortable? What would be the max deal that you would offer for him to be able to come in and in the holdout?
Well, maybe they can give him $15 million and then give him, over 10 sacks, you get $5 million more, or
incentive laden contract.
Incentives, yeah, I would do that in 2 years. I mean, I wouldn't go more than what 2 years say, that kind of thing, or more than 10 sacks, or I don't know, how can you work it out? $500,000 per sack.
Yeah,
I don't know if that would be too many. No, that would work. 10 sacks would give you $5 million. Right? So you'd be at $5 million, $500,000 per sack. And if you make the Pro Bowl, you make another $2 million. I think a lot of players had that kind of deal. Trying to think of what players had that kind of deal. There's quite a few I can't think offhand. But let me say something about McDonald, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead. That's where I was going next.
I don't think. Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe.
No, go ahead.
I don't think he's got a double. I don't think he's got a double sack. His sack. Huff, Huff may have had some sacks. I think if McDonald gets 7 or 8 sacks, I'll be okay with it, right? I don't think you could expect him to go to 10. I wouldn't. But Huff, he had sacks. He had no fumble recoveries and no forced fumbles and no picks. Okay, he was just a pure sack. So I think if McDonald, especially if what's his name comes into camp finally, the guy who we just talked
Hassan
about.
Riddick.
Right. Hassan Reddick, yeah. If he comes into camp, you're going to see probably forced fumbles, strip sacks at the quarterback, all kinds of crazy things for McDonald. You do need that other edge rusher. I don't think you could put him on an island and expect him to do double-digit sacks without Reddick.
Wow.
Let's put it that way. I don't think that would be fair to him.
Well, I tell you what, that's going to be the situation. I hear you, Ted, but that's going to be the situation the Jets are going to be in if you don't figure out what's going on with Hassan Reddick. Because, Will McDonald's a first-round pick. He's got to do something. And look, I get it.
True.
If Hassan Reddick does come in, the pressure kind of eases off of him a bit. But if there's no Hassan Reddick when this season starts, depending on how long this holdout goes, and he's already shown you 15 days, he's getting fined $50K a day, and now I think it's like 15% of his prorated signing bonus as well is up for grabs too. He's already shown you he does not care. He missed out on, he got fined for mandatory minicamp. Money is whatever at this point to him. You can keep finding him. He wants a deal. You can clearly see that. So with that ratchets up the pressure on Will McDonald, and he's got to do something. I think he has to have double-digit sacks if there's no Hassan Reddick. Now, if Hassan comes into the building, we can say 7, 8 sacks for Will McDonald, some good pressures. That's phenomenal. But if not, that pressure ratchets up on him immediately, and this is a Super Bowl or bust season. No excuses. This is what Jets fans are telling me on a weekly basis, Ted. On a weekly basis, I hear the shows. I'm not just I'm not just making this up. I had people come on last week too. Said the same thing. They're expecting big things out of him, and he's also a first-round pick. You better go out there and make it happen. Pass rush is the name of your game, so let's see what's up. So
I gotcha.
We'll see what happens going
forward.
Let
me say this, Joe, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me say this real quick, Joe. Sorry, it's been a few minutes. I don't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
But I thought about what Val mentioned, Zach Wilson. Okay, so we averaged 1 touchdown per game last year. Okay, I think in a way, I hate to say this, but maybe Rodgers can compensate if we happen to not have Reddick on the team. It would hurt. But now we have a guy, we could score, 28, 30 points a game with this kind of offense. We're not going into a game every year, every week thinking, hey, man, we got to hold this team down to nothing because we can't score, right? So now we're the opposite. We dictate these games based on the opponent. San Francisco, probably physical, low scoring, probably. Other teams like Miami, we may have to score more.
Yeah.
We have to open it up maybe a little more. So Reddick would be a big blow. But maybe there's somebody else who could come in if need be, will not be up to his level. But we may have to go to plan B, Joe.
Yeah.
At some point. I don't know if this is going to get resolved. I really don't.
I'm hoping it does, but like you, Ted, I don't know. The sides. There's been rumors that they're not far apart, but he's still not here. And that rumor came out, a week ago. He's still not here. It's like, okay, well, when are things going to get figured out? It's strange. But as we continue to talk about this team, Ted, and we got this preseason game coming up, man. What are your thoughts? What is a player on offense and a player on defense? Give me one from each side that you're going to be keeping your eyes on the most in this first upcoming preseason game against the Commanders, and why?
Joe, I would say defense. There's a kid from Miami called Lawrence. He's an undrafted nose tackle. He's been making a lot of plays in practice. He's been flashing. So I want to see what he can do. He's like a nose guard, about 300 pounds. He would be next to Quinnen, but he's got a quick first step. So he's a disruptor. I'd like to see what he can do.
You're talking about that kid from Miami, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You
He's
talking
number
Leonard
56,
Taylor?
isn't it? Is that his name, Morris?
Leonard Taylor.
Oh,
I think you're
Taylor,
talking
I'm
about
sorry.
the
Leonard
undrafted
Taylor.
guy.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Leonard Taylor. Mm-hmm.
I think you're right.
Mhm.
Sorry, Joe.
No,
yep,
go ahead.
you are right. See, Joe, I'm a little rusty, Joe. I haven't called in a while. Gotta get my facts down.
It's all good. It's all good. Go ahead.
That's why there's a host. That's why there's a host, Joe. Thank you, Joe. And then on offense, boy, oh boy. I mean, I guess Tippmann's going to play. Hey, Joe, I like to see Tippmann, Joe, but Joe, I'm not comparing him to Jason Kelsey, but Jason Kelsey was a notoriously bad snapper.
Oof.
Okay? You know, he was all over the map when he snapped, okay? And he still was a good player. So, pump the brakes on Tippmann, okay? He might be a little nervous, you know, being with Rodgers. Like a first date. It might be like a first date with a porn star for him. You know what I mean? It's out of his league a little bit. So,
be careful, Ted. This is YouTube. That was hilarious. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ted. Go ahead.
I don't know where to go from here, Joe. I don't know where to go from here, Joe.
Ted, oh my goodness.
That's all I got.
Listen, Ted, it was phenomenal speaking with you.
All right, Joe.
You have
All right,
yourself
Joe.
a good night. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you.
Yeah, wear a raincoat, Tippmann. That's all I can say. Put on a raincoat. Thanks, Joe.
Oh my goodness, Ted got spicy before he got out of here. We gotta be careful. It's YouTube. That was hilarious. But this is YouTube. Okay, YouTube. I love YouTube. Look, I just want to see Tippmann be better. I'm not destroying him. I just want him to be better. Okay, I want him to be better. Salutes to the savages in the chat. Dano says, crush Jaden Daniels, fold him like a lawn chair. Watson Taylor. Yeah, you know, we're going to see what's going on. Shogun says, Izzy being fourth on the depth chart was always expected. Braylon Allen is a monster, and Isaiah Davis is more explosive. Man, listen, there's been a lot of people talking about 732. I see you. I'll come to you in a second. There's been a lot of people that was saying that the second that we drafted those guys. I believe in Izzy. I believe in him. All right. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why he's fourth on the depth chart. Jeez Louise. But here we are. Okay. Man, oh man. Michael Piper says, no way. Rodgers doesn't play preseason at all. Wow. Michael says he doesn't want to see play preseason at all. Sean Bennett salutes and respect to you as well. He says, Will McDonald could be a Reddick-type defensive end. McDonald is good at strip sacking. He also speaks on the Hassan Riddick situation. And Sean says, just tape a briefcase above his locker with money sign on it and watch him shine. Okay. Please give the stream a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you will be in the know. Okay? I got spicy callers, man. No cursing. I got some spicy callers, okay? The number to call in is 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next! We're going to Max. Max, we're coming to you. 732, sit tight. I will come to you in a second. Steve, I see you. We'll come to you as well. But we got to get to Max. For those of you that do not know Max, he's a savage. Savage! Max salutes. Good to speak with you. Hassan Riddick still not in camp. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm totally concerned about this situation because Hassan Reddick's on camp, and I was talking with Matt O'Leary about the same exact subject, Hassan Reddick holding out on $18 million. I mean, right now his salary is at $14 million. He's saying he's being massively underpaid. I mean, he's saying Carl Lawson level. So I think the Jets need to pay him $24 million, $25 million because he's a good edge rusher. I mean, I understand we pay other players. I mean, if we have to pay him $24 million for maybe a one-year deal worth $24 million, because he's like one of the best edge rushers in the league. That's just my opinion on it.
No, he is. Listen, people are willing to give up that $24 million now. I remember being told, "Oh no, we got all the leverage." Listen, baby, you got to pay to play. And Hassan is right now, he's got a lot of the eggs in his basket. We'll see what happens going forward with the Jets. We've been also talking about Aaron Rodgers, man, Jets starting offense. I've been talking about wanting to see them playing at least a series for each of the last 2 preseason games. What are your thoughts? Do you want to see Aaron Rodgers play at all? There's a lot of Jets fans that don't. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I think you should play one series, but I think you should judge it based off injury, because I don't want Aaron Rodgers to re-tear his Achilles or get the other Achilles injury. Because bro, if he gets another Achilles injury, I am so worried. So I think we should see if Aaron Rodgers is okay before we play him in the preseason game, because I don't want him getting another injury and Jets fans are in panic. So I just think we should listen to Aaron Rodgers. Be if he doesn't want to play, just don't let him play. But the starters I want to see in this preseason game, I want to see Malachi Fleury, because I think he's a very good slot receiver compared to Debo Samuel. I want to see Braylon Allen in the game.
Okay.
He's a very good running back from Wisconsin, and a defensive player that I really want to see is Quantez Stickers, because he's been impressing a lot of people already. I was at Jets training camp, and there have been a lot of reports that Quantez Stickers have been really impressive, and he could be a starting corner in the future.
Those are great takes, Max. My last question before I let you go, Tippmann, he's having some snap issues, right? We've seen snaps go over Aaron Rodgers' head. He's kind of cleaned things up. At practice today, it wasn't an issue. Are you worried about that leaking into the season?
I mean, if it happens in preseason, I'll be totally concerned about it, because it's a problem. Because if he gets over his head, it could be a Peyton Manning situation in the Super Bowl. But, I mean, if it's only a training camp problem, I wouldn't be concerned. If it happens, say, in the regular season or, in a crucial moment, then, yes, I would be totally concerned.
Okay. Listen, Max, this is a phenomenal call from you. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, man. We're going to keep on moving again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is number. Call in. Next caller. We're going to Charles. Charles, we're coming directly to you. Okay, for those of you that do not know Charles, hey, man, this guy is a savage. Savage!
I wouldn't necessarily call myself a savage, Long Beach Joe. First thing first, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm all right. How about yourself? Listen, we're talking that talk tonight, man. Hassan Reddick holding out. What are your thoughts?
I mean, Revis did the same thing back in 2010, so it wouldn't surprise me, but hopefully it doesn't drag on too long. Hopefully these two sides get together and, so we can actually see Hassan Reddick blossom as a Jet, which I think he will if he decides to show up and play. As for Joe Tippmann snap issues, I'm not really that concerned. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not concerned, but at the same time, he did have some snap issues last year, but he was arguably our best offensive lineman last year in terms of his blocking skills and communication. He did have a very solid rookie season. I think he has the still potential to be one of the best centers we've had in the history of our franchise, which I know a lot of us know that we've had a history of very good centers. John Schmidt with Joe Namath, Joe Fields in the 80s. I think he was a center, Joe Fields. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Mangold, phenomenal center as well. He was great. I mean, those were the days. The Brigashaw Ferguson out on the left side. That was great. Yeah, we had some solid linemen here. Now, I'm just a little worried about it. Okay, especially again if this is something that continues. But he cleaned things up today, and I'm hoping things are going smooth going forward. Now, as we continue to talk about this team, Charles, I'm looking at this situation, man. You got Izzy Anabanakanda fourth on the Jets depth chart behind 2 rookie running backs. What are your thoughts on that, man? Are you shocked by that?
Not really. I mean, Isaiah Davis, I hope I said his name correctly. I heard he fumbled a bit in training camp the other day, but did better afterwards. He ran a wrong route, and Aaron Rodgers treated him out, which is what I like to see. And plus, what really aggravates me, I'm trying my best not to curse here, the media went crazy when he and Garrett Wilson had a blow-up session last week. I'm like, didn't Peyton Manning have a heated argument with Jeff Saturday at one point?
Yeah.
Didn't Tom Brady have a blow-up session with one of his teammates or with one of his coaches? Like, what the heck? Like, I don't understand. Like, because it's Aaron Rodgers, because to the world he's a diva, he's a distraction, all this other garbage. I'm like, stuff like that happens. Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, they love each other. They're developing a wonderful bond, which is awesome. They, I think that if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, I think his connection will be Garrett Wilson will be one of the best we will ever see this season.
Yeah. No, yeah. I absolutely do. You're already seeing it, this throughout camp, some of the things that they're doing. And you even, talked a little bit about that talk, that animated discussion they were having on the sidelines. Clearly that was about getting better and figuring things out. Whatever it was that they were talking about, you could tell they were trying to figure out how to attack a defense or a play where Garrett needed to be. He was, venting to Aaron Rodgers, and they ended that discussion with a handshake. Respect amongst each other. That's what it's all about. These are two guys that are going to have major impact for the New York Jets going into this upcoming season. Major impact for the Jets. So, of course, they're sitting down on the sidelines, getting some straightening, figuring things out, and ending on a respectful note as well. Now, Charles, before I let you go, man, give me a player on offense and a player on defense that you will be watching and keeping your eyes on intensely in this upcoming game against the Commanders on Saturday.
On the preseason, I like the Leonard Taylor, or the third Lawrence. Listen to me, I was going to say Lawrence Taylor. I can't believe I said that.
Leonard Taylor.
I know, Giant fan, boo. The third LT we've had.
Yeah.
The Danny Tomlinson was good for us. Lakin Tomlinson was terrible. I heard Leonard Taylor has been awesome for us. Who I think was an undrafted free agent from Miami, I think.
Yep.
I heard he's been kicking butt in training camp, which is awesome. And the player on offense I would love to see is Brandon Allen.
Okay.
I heard the guy is amazing. Brandon Allen's amazing. I mean, I was going to throw in Malachi Corley, but I don't know how much he's going to be out there in the preseason. I heard he's doing wonderful in training camp, which is awesome. I heard he threw, there was a time where Aaron Rodgers threw 6 touchdown passes. One of them was to Malachi Corley, who made a beautiful catch. Look, man, I like this draft class. I know me and you a while back wanted the Jets to draft Olu Fashanu first, and that dream became a reality.
Absolutely.
I hear Olu Fashanu has looked good in training camp.
Yeah, he's looked phenomenal. Like, he's out there, and again, especially with the rest days that Tyron Smith has had, he gets those snaps, and he's a guy that's been moving around. And I love, like you said as well, me and you talking about this, man, Olu Fashanu is here. He could be the guy for the next 10 years. And we've also not just thinking about while Aaron Rodgers is here, but thinking about, when he decides to hang it up, the next guy is going to be able to be protected properly as well. Listen, Charles, I got to slide off. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right? You gave us some good takes.
No problem, man. Have a good day, and God bless.
Absolutely, man. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next, I'm going to Steve. Steve, I'm coming to you. Savages, I'll come to you in the chat. Put your thoughts, put your comments. Hold on. All right, but we got to get to Steve, all right? For those of you that do not know Steve, he's a savage. Savage! Steve salutes. We've been talking that talk. I could not wait to speak to you because you know this football team through and through, man. Hassan Reddick, still not at camp. What are your thoughts on this? When do you think this holdout will end, man?
Hey, Joe. Well, first of all, thank you again for having me on your show tonight. It's always great to talk about this football team. So the thing about this whole thing with Hassan Reddick is that I know for a fact that I know they have had talks about things, are moving processly well, but unfortunately, we just don't know when it's going to happen. My guess is that maybe after this week that we have with the Commanders, maybe going into next week is when they will finally have it done. I mean, listen, I think no matter what, they will get it done way before the season begins. But the only concern will be is when Hassan Reddick does come, when he officially gets the contract he wants, the only concern is would he come in rusty? I don't know, but we'll find out.
Yeah, that's a big question right there, and that's why I'm worried because we've seen players hold out for quite a long time, miss a lot of the off-season stuff, voluntary, the mandatory, the mini camps and the training camps, and those guys get signed kind of late, and then we've seen injuries, right? Hamstring injuries are pretty prevalent. Some of those guys often get hamstring injuries, little knick-knack injuries, because you're not out there with the team, constantly working. I know he's working out on his own and he's doing his thing, but we've seen that, hamper some guys, and I'm worried about that happening with him. And the situation, man, with his contract, I'm wondering if the Jets are going to be able to get this done. This could play into the season, and that to me will ratchet up all of the expectations on Will McDonald. Now, Will McDonald, he's been having a solid camp, been putting some things together and been having some sacks, man. What are your thoughts about him being behind Michael Clemens on the depth chart? Are you surprised by that?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, listen, one thing is that I have been reading about from Will McDonald, and I actually read some things about it happening today with him. McDonald has been having a pretty good camp this year. I mean, at the beginning he did get off to a slow start, but he has been getting better. And eventually, let's say if Hassan Reddick is still out by during the beginning of the year, let's just say, even though I don't think it's going to happen, I would be very shocked if he doesn't have a contract signed before the season begins. But the thing is with the whole situation is, Will McDonald may have to step it up. And I think he could definitely step it up because during his rookie season last year, even when the Jets unfortunately were out of it at the time, he was making some plays as a rookie, and he was showing a lot of promise. I mean, we'll see what he definitely looks like going into year two. And he is one player I'll be looking forward to watching on Saturday when we play the Commanders.
Yeah, I'm looking to see some things out of him, Steve. If Hassan Reddick, and like I said, this could play into the season. I saw it with Chris Jones, and he's not blinking an eye at all. $50K a day, not phased. That 15% of his signing bonus, prorated signing bonus, he clearly isn't phased by that. He clearly is sitting out. He clearly wants another contract. And I know, if you think about it from Hassan Reddick's side, this could be the last time he gets that big payday. So he's willing to bet it all. So we'll see what happens going forward. I want to see it get done. I want to see that contract get figured out, but I'm wondering if it does. We'll see what happens, as things continue to play out. Now, as we talk about this team, you talk about preseason. Steve, I'm a guy that wants to see Aaron Rodgers in at least a series for the last 2 games of the preseason. Right? Some people are calling me crazy, Steve. What are your thoughts?
Listen, Joe, I know you. I understand from where you're coming from. I know you want to see, Aaron Rodgers definitely be ready to go, when the regular season begins. But so here is my thing about it. Do I think he should play in the first game against the Commanders? No. And he probably most likely will definitely not play the first game against the Commanders. And he's not going to probably play the second preseason game when we go to Carolina the following Saturday. Now, the last game is a game that I think he should definitely play in, because the thing is that you want him to get you want Aaron Rodgers to get maybe some reps in. I know that there are some people that are saying that Rodgers shouldn't play because everybody is worried about injuries and all that. And listen, I totally do understand that. But the one thing that should happen is for the preseason is that whoever are going to be our starting 5 offensive linemen to start this season, they got to make sure that they're gelled together. Yeah. Because, as you made a good point last year, Joe, on the 4th play of the game against Buffalo, when Rodgers went down with the injury, that was when Dwayne Brown missed the blocking assignment on Leonard Floyd. And listen, the tackle that Leonard Floyd made on Aaron Rodgers to this day, everybody else says, it was a dirty hit by Leonard Floyd. No, it wasn't. It was a clean, crisp tackle by Leonard Floyd when he got Rodgers in the backfield. But unfortunately, and like I said before, when Rodgers did tear his Achilles on this play, it was part of the MetLife turf, like I said. Rodgers was another victim of the MetLife turf, and the MetLife turf is something that I did talk about. But listen, the offensive line should definitely gel in together, but I think the only game that Rodgers should probably play in is the last one against the Giants.
And listen, Steve, and I hear your opinion, and I respect that. But what you just talked about, the offensive line needing to gel together, is why I think that they should play at least 2 games, just a series in each of the last 2 games, is because you have Tyron Smith, Simpson, and Morgan Moses. Those guys are fresh to the team. Well, Morgan Moses has been here before, but he's fresh to the team in this scheme with Aaron Rodgers. Then you also got AVT coming back from an injury. He ain't played in a minute, right? Then you also got Tippmann, who we've been talking about having issues snapping the ball so far. They've got to get that cleaned up. Those guys have got to gel and get things cleaned up. And guess what? Those 2 games can be utilized to build momentum, because the first game out the gate, you're going against a top team in the league in San Francisco, a team that could very well be in the Super Bowl because they've been there before, right? They're coming out of the gate with a screaming pass rush, right, headed by that guy Bosa, and they got other guys too. Don't get it confused. I'm on the West Coast. They got other guys, but Bosa's the big name. If your offensive line is not fleshed out and figured out, Bosa will rip Aaron Rodgers' head off. That's a fact. That's a fact. So I understand there's injury concerns. There's injury concerns with him on the field in training camp, right? I mean, he strained his calf last year in training camp. We're having protection issues this year. We just had protection issues today. He would have been sacked 3 times today, right? I want things to get fleshed out as much as possible. I'm not saying a half. I'm not saying a quarter. I'm just saying a series. Let's just start to ramp it up. Let's start to get some momentum. Let's just get a taste. Because if you go into the season and you're still trying to figure things out, the San Francisco 49ers are the wrong team to try to figure things out with. Okay? Okay? That might not be the team you want to do that with. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, listen, and Joe, here was another thing that's obviously, because there actually have been obviously things going on with the 49ers right now. Obviously, the whole thing with Brandon Ayuk is going nuts. I mean, Brandon Ayuk eventually is most likely getting traded because he wants a new contract and he hasn't been happy with the 49ers. But the biggest news came out today with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying, there's a possibility McCaffrey is not going to play the first game of the year. And, Kyle Shanahan announced today that he wasn't going to play in the preseason. Listen, even if McCaffrey doesn't play in that first game of the year against us, the 49ers still have talent on that team.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll discuss that when we get closer to the regular season, Joe, when we do talk about that first game against the San Francisco 49ers. But that 49ers team has talent.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They're a deep team. And they have multiple backs that they throw at you, too. It's not just McCaffrey. He's unbelievable, trust. But they have other guys that they can throw at you, too. Steve, before I let you go, man, because you've given us some great takes, give me a player on offense and a player on defense that you will be keeping your eyes on in the upcoming preseason game against the Commanders.
Well, defense, I will say, and once again, I'm going to say Will McDonald. Okay. And for the offense, I really am excited to watch Malachi play because I've heard Malachi's been doing a lot of great things. Mm-hmm. So those are the 2 players I'm really looking forward to. Now, Joe, before you do let me go, I just wanted to ask you this question before. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever asked you this question before, but out of ever since you became a New York Jets fan, what is your greatest moment of all time of being a New York Jets fan? Like, did you have like a favorite game? Like, what is your favorite New York Jets game of all time?
The game, I believe it was before the AFC Championship game. When we played at the time they were the San Diego Chargers, when Sean Green ran the ball, I forgot it was a wrong touchdown run. I was actually in San Diego for that game. I went to the stadium. I was there.
Well, obviously you're in California.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're in California. No, but that was the game when we won 17-14 against the Chargers. And the Chargers, if you remember, they were the hottest team going into into the playoffs. Because remember, they ended the season with an 11-game winning streak, and the Jets were the ones that snapped that winning streak against us. And remember how nobody gave the Jets a chance in that game because of the whole height difference because
Oh no! Listen,
San Diego had all these big
Steve,
players on the team,
Steve,
and we had
listen. I was there. I was there. I was there tailgating and everything. I was there at the tailgate because I showed up early into the stadium. Let me tell you something. Those Chargers. First off, most of them are fair weather fans because I was sitting next to a Chargers fan that had literally been there all season. He was a season ticket holder. He said these Chargers fans, most of these people, they never here. Their stadium's never filled. I'm usually the only one here. I'm sitting next to him the entire game, and there were Chargers fans literally just yapping. And I remember their kicker. I think his name was Nate Keating, I believe. He had missed like a couple field goals. He had missed like a couple, like back to back.
And he missed 3 field goals.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And to watch and they were just yapping. And I was like, hey, listen, we're going to beat you guys. Don't trip. And watching their faces when we were shutting guys down, I remember Revis getting that interception. I remember Sean Green putting the game away with that touchdown. It was just unbelievable to watch. And watching them leave the stadium so dejected, so upset, so mad because we had got that W. It was phenomenal. They were furious. They were banging because I was sitting next to a bunch of Jets fans on the change to leave. They were banging the windows. It was crazy. I loved it.
Did you come out of that stadium alive, like by not getting attacked by Charger fans?
Oh man,
were Charger fans trying to attack you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They were banging on the windows because I was sitting on the train because they had this train to leave. And I was sitting on the train, and the whole car that I was in pretty much was all Jets fans, and they were banging on the windows and giving us the finger and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I had a great time. I thought the game was phenomenal, but I guess they were upset about the outcome. But yeah, it was fine. It was fine.
So that was your greatest moment as a Jets fan.
Yeah.
The 17-14 win in the divisional round against the Chargers.
Yeah. It was great. I had a lot of fun.
Okay, Joe. Hey, listen, Joe. I'll let you go, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You have a good one, Steve. Listen, Steve bringing us some takes, man. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Listen, man, I had a great time at the game. I wasn't upset. All right? There were so many fair weather Chargers fans. It was insane. They literally had on jerseys that still had creases in them. You could tell that they just bought that jersey like the day before. The guy that was standing next to me was like, all these Chargers fans in here are fake. He was a huge Charger fan. He had season tickets. He was like, these guys are fake. He literally had a jacket. I think he had a Chargers jacket on. He had his jersey underneath. It was old. He was like, look at my jerseys. Look at these guys. He was laughing at him. It is what it is. Go Jets. We're going to keep getting to the lines again. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next! We're going to Rusty. Rusty, we're coming directly to you. We know that Rusty's going to give us some takes, all right? For those of you that do not know Rusty, he's a savage. Savage! Rusty, salutes. I want to thank you for calling in, man. We've been talking that talk all night tonight. I'm a guy that wants to see Aaron Rodgers play in at least a series of the last 2 preseason games. Boy. Some people are calling me crazy. Rusty, do you think I'm out of my mind?
Well, salutes, Joe, and salutes, fellow savages.
Salute.
And yeah, you're out of your mind, but you know, it's all good, bud. I understand where you're coming from, but I think.
Tell me why, Rusty. Why am I the crazy one? Why do I need to be put in a room with padded walls? Why?
No, you're a good crazy, but I mean, it's probably just anxious too. Of course, we want to see him. I do too, but I don't know, man. I don't want to risk it in the preseason with the biscuit type of deal. Mm-hmm. And he's going against our defense, which is in the top 5, if not number 1. You know, it's of course you got the San Fran over there, like how you stated. You know, you got this guy named Bosa and a few other cats. So. But I just rather them, you know, go hard at the line and just settle it down and, you know,
preseason, in training camp and in practice,
Mm-hmm.
and then, release the beast in the first game. It's there's a lot on the table, man. I'm one of those psychopaths where if you're crazy, I guess I'm crazy because I'm saying Super Bowl victory is a must or a bust.
I told people,
So
listen, I've been telling people there's tons of Jets fans calling in, just like you, Rusty. I'm here, and they call and say Super Bowl or bust. If they don't get to the AFC Championship, then everybody needs to be fired. I've heard it. I'm just putting it out there.
Not
I'm
fired,
not crazy.
but I'll be furious.
Yeah, listen.
I'll be furious. The one guy that should be fired is going to be Hackett. Can't stand him, and then Carter. So, that's
I'm listening.
Those are my two that should be axed.
Here's the thing, though, and I understand. I'm looking at it from this standpoint. I understand some people say, "Oh, Joe, you're crazy." But here's the deal. There's a risk of injury everywhere. I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the things that we saw last season was the lack of practice, especially along that offensive line, because Dwayne Brown didn't come back, I think, until like maybe a couple days before the last game, and he didn't play in it, right?
Yeah.
So this offensive line didn't gel.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't gel at all. And when we went into the season, you saw it against the Bills. It was all over the place. And Dwayne Brown wasn't the only one that was bad. It was like the whole line damn near was bad.
Yeah, it was like
could
somebody
block.
stepped on a rake and got their teeth knocked out.
Yeah,
that was our offensive line.
It was
just body shoddy everywhere.
Exactly. So when you look at this situation with our line, and we are all saying it from the looks on paper, it should be better, but they still got to gel. 3 of these guys are brand new to this scheme, to Hackett's scheme. And, Simpson, Smith, and Morgan Moses. You got AVT coming back from an injury, and we got Tippmann. This guy's snapping the ball all over the damn place. High snaps. I just want to see that get smoothed out, right, before you go face the Niners. Because if you try to smooth that stuff out against Bosa, he gonna smooth you out. He's gonna lay you out clean.
Yeah, that's true.
No, that's all I'm saying. Listen, I understand where people are coming from, but that's all I'm saying.
I think he'll get his jitters out, though, but I feel you. I know where you're coming from 1,000,000%. Mm-hmm. But and the good thing, too, that we have this year is that, knock on wood, all the guys are playing together already. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's not like what happened last year where we have one of our starter guys who's like, all right, yeah, now I'll come to practice. Mm-hmm. And, basically 3 days before game day, in a sense. So just keep on doing, keep on battling. And I just think Tippmann's got those jitters in the sense. Like he's so focused on trying not to, because Rodgers, good luck trying to pick that guy's brain. So everything that he sees, he's always changing plays and, trying to understand the language, motioning people in, out, all sorts of stuff. And then all of a sudden, you got Q in front of you. You got Kinlaw. It's like, who am I blocking on this, And Kinlaw is like 2 Brock Lesnars together, so it's crazy, man.
Yeah. Listen.
But I think he'll smooth it out, though. I think he'll keep it down.
Rusty, when do you think that the holdout of Hassan Riddick will end?
Oh God, I'm with you, man. I hope it's. Everyone called us crazy in the beginning. They're like, here's Woodruff. I'm like, I didn't see no pen no pen to paper.
Yep.
Yep. Or, I want to see that concrete stuff. And if it ain't concrete, it ain't, it ain't nothing. Mm-hmm. So I really hope it's sooner than later, because if anything, people it's probably easier for offense in a sense because Rodgers would be there to break you down for new guys to come in and then the offensive line. But to understand our defense, that's a riddle in itself because our defense didn't figure each other out until basically like year 3.
Yep.
So, God, man, it's troubling for sure. I hope he's just getting tired of eating sushi and all sorts of stuff and just comes and just be like, all right, hopefully he goes bankrupt over there. I'm not hoping for that, but
man,
it's just. Because it's a lose-lose for both Joe and us.
Yep.
Yeah, and him.
Yep.
He's older, and then Joe's like, so it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's a standoff, and it stinks that, But who are we without controversy?
Yeah.
It's always something.
I tell you, man, this is a rough situation, and we'll see how this continues to play out. I'm hoping it gets done, but I feel like it's going to go into the season. And like you said, and we were both, everybody called us crazy. But we're not so crazy now.
Yeah, at least
we?
for something.
Yeah, we're not so crazy now.
Like a fox.
Yeah. So we're getting short on time here, Rusty. Before I let you go, give me a player on offense and a player on defense that you will be keeping your eyes on in this upcoming game against the Commanders.
I wonder if for offense, if we're gonna put what's his name, Tyler Harrell, the kid from Miami, the lightning bolt. I wonder if we're gonna try him at that new kickoff thing, because that's what I'd like to see him. You know, just a one cut gone type of deal. And as far as defense, I do like the other kid, Leonard from Miami, but the linebacker from Army, Carry at Carlello or something like that. And
McCary Ball.
That guy is.
I think you're.
No. Jimmy Ciarlo. He was UDFA. He's from Army. And,
okay.
Dude, that kid is smart too, and he's a good hitter and he's quick. But that's who I'm curious. I like literally almost all of our UDFAs except for that kid from Connecticut, the wide receiver. But those are my two dudes. Because you're not hearing about them so much, and they're not cut either. So it's like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, because in college, you know, of course, you know, Harlow he didn't do much, but you know, you can't deny speed, and speed kills. But that kid, Ciara, oh gosh, I butcher his name, Ciarlo or something, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Jimmy
from
Ciarlo,
Army.
Yep.
Yeah, Dude, that kid is something else, and he's smart and he's fast, and he knows how to stick you. He's a sure tackler. I almost cursed, but I caught myself. But yeah, those two dudes. Yeah, no, it's all good. I almost go. You know, I just lean towards the diamond board and just take a step back. So.
Listen, Rusty, I gotta slide off because they're gonna cut me off in a second. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you.
No doubt. Buster runs it up, bud.
Yeah.
Absolutely, bud. Have a great and salute to you and salute to fellow savages. Let's go Jets.
Absolutely. Let's go Jets. This is a phenomenal show. I want to thank everybody for calling in. Really enjoyed it. We're going to shut it down in a second. The player that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on, I think the most in this upcoming game, I don't know how many of the starters are going to play, but I'm definitely keeping my eyes on Braylon Allen. I'm sure she's probably going to play. I'm going Braylon Allen, probably Malachi Corley as well, but I don't know if Malachi is going to play. But if Malachi doesn't play, then it's going to be Braylon Allen. I really want to see him. I mean, he's been stealing the show a lot. And defensively, the guy that I'm really looking forward to seeing the most for us defensively is Will McDonald. I think Will McDonald is going to play in the first preseason game. And if he doesn't, then it's Leonard Taylor. Okay? It's Leonard Taylor. All right? So those are my guys. Okay? So we're getting short on time before Blog Talk starts hating. Okay? Listen. I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on Twitter as well. Going over to Twitter, type in @The Long Beach Joe, @The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Okay, follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times, okay? We'll see how long, we'll see how much they let the starting offense play these upcoming games, all right? But I'd like to see them out there for a little bit because I want Vera Tucker to get into that mode, okay, before the Niners. But he's going to dominate anyway this season. You know what we do. Fight on, okay? That's what we do at SC, okay? That's what we do at USC. We fight on, okay? So we'll be down there trolling. I'm also on YouTube as well. Going over to YouTube, all right, type in Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that notification bell.
90 seconds.
See, here comes the hate. When I post content, you folks will be in the know. Also, when you hit that bell, hit all so you'll get all of my content. Please give the videos and streams a thumbs up. And if you're going to troll me, get in those comments, all right? and post a comment, troll me, and I'll troll you right back. No issues. And as always, people, when you see me in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. I want to thank you for taking the times out of your day to call in,
60 seconds,
to interact with your boy any way that you do. Okay, I want to thank you. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Without you folks, I'm absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the times out of your day to link with your guy, come on in, talk football, and have a great time. So until the next show, you folks have a good one. Peace. 1 second, folks. Okay, pal. All right, listen, folks. I got to slide up out of here. So, exclamation point links in the chat brings up my link tree. Okay. Linktree has all the links to all of my content, has the links to all of my YouTube pages as well. More reactions will be coming soon. I apologize, but I got more reactions coming very, very soon for y'all. We have a lot of fun on the reaction page. We laugh at fools on the internet. We watch people throw them things. So please come on over there and get involved. Subscribe to my reaction channel. And if there's something you want to see me react to, put it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? And I'll see if your boy can do that. All right, I'll react to it. You know, as long as it's on the up and up, keep in mind it's YouTube. Okay. Got to be careful. All right. But we have a lot of fun over there. Also subscribe to this channel as well. We do these shows year round. Okay. Year round for you folks that may not know. All right. I'll let you guys know when the next show is going to be. Again, you know, it changes because my schedule is wild, but we have a lot of fun. Okay. So please get involved, subscribe, hit that notification bell, give the video and stream a thumbs up. Okay. This number right here, this number, it doesn't change. That's always going to be the number to the show, unless I tell you it's not, okay? Some night, like Michael says, Blog Talk blows. Sometimes they do blow, okay? Listen, they were all right tonight, so we're not going to bash Blog Talk, but we've seen them screw the pooch in the past, okay? So here's the deal. Even if that happens, you will know because we have another means for you to be able to call into the show and have a lot of fun, all right? But this number is the number to the show, okay? So please call in. Make sure you have a good phone, okay? When you call in, please make sure your phone has a good connection. If your connection sucks, I'm going to have to move on. If I can't hear you, my audience can't hear you, what can I do, okay? I need to be able to hear you, okay? Also, make sure that your background is clear of noise, okay? Please clear your background of noise. There are people call me. They're at work. They want to talk to your boy. They're on the jackhammer at work, and then they just want to call in and talk. Listen, hold on. Put the jackhammer down, go down the street, all right? Talk to your boy, and then get right back into work and do your thing. I love that people listen to me when they're at their job or when they're doing stuff. Some people tell me they listen to me when they're, getting off from work and making dinner. They throw me on and they listen to the takes and the callers. I love that, okay? And I want to thank y'all for that. But my audience needs to be able to hear you clearly. If my audience cannot hear you clearly and I cannot hear you clearly, there's nothing I can do. Okay. All right. Nothing I can do. All right. Also, okay, this number right here, again, is always the number. There's some people, I'm not going to tell you who's doing this. It's Rusty and Val. Okay. I'm not saying who's doing it, but it's Rusty and Val. Okay. The show starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Show starts at 7 p.m. Eastern generally. Okay. Some people call in earlier than before the show starts. Okay, so they'll call in at about 6:55 p.m. Eastern. They do that because they want to be first on the line. Okay, it's not illegal. You are welcome to do this. Okay, some people figured this out. Okay, I got veteran callers that figured this out a while ago. Okay, so they'll call in at 6:55 p.m. Eastern. They'll wait for the show to start. I'll give my little spiel generally. I'll do about, maybe 5-10 minutes talking about the Jets and topics. And then I get straight to the callers because that's, what I like to do. This show is about touching the people, reaching the people, talking to everybody, talking to my Jets brothers and sisters about what's going on out there. All right. So some people was like, hey, how does this person keep getting on? Listen, I'm not telling you to do it as Rusty and Val. You're free to do that as well. Okay. From what I know, the phone lines for the show open at 6:50 p.m. Eastern. From what I know, some people say they open up before that, but from what I know, the phone lines for the show open at 6:50 p.m. Eastern And the show, okay, my show starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, okay? So some people call in, they wait, and then they get on early, okay? Now, keep in mind, if you don't do that, it's okay because you'll still come on. My hold times are not long. Everyone knows that, okay? I usually give people about 5 to 7 minutes to, give us your takes and get going and have a great discussion, okay? I would love to talk to people longer. Some people will be calling in. I've had discussions with people. They're like, listen, Joe, I need 30 minutes. And I'm like, hey, whoa, I can't do that. Okay. But I can give you, some time to definitely get your thoughts out and have a good back and forth discussion. Also, I don't allow cursing on my show. Don't call into my show cursing. I'll get you out of here fast, man. Don't do that. Okay. This is YouTube and this is this is a family show. Okay, I got young people that listen to me, old people that listen to me. We can't have that. Okay, so just, I understand, you get passionate, some people, but, you can't have that. And I don't have to tell my audience that. Very, very intelligent people. They don't curse like that. But, I got to put that out there. Okay. So, yeah, I can't have that. All right. Now, if you keep doing it, one, I'll give you a warning. Sometimes I don't even give people warnings, especially if it's bad. I just move on. Okay. But I'll give you a warning. If you ignore the warning, keep going, I'll hang up on you. All right. I'm telling you, I've done it. OG Savages, people that's been here for a minute, they know. I'll do it in a heartbeat. Okay. This is YouTube. YouTube is sensitive and I love YouTube. Okay. Rusty says, oh, that's fake. Joe, it's because the Ohio State Buckeyes are amazing. Hate on good old Rusty. Let's go, Jet. Wow. Man, I got a lot of Ohio State guys here too. Okay. They find a way to put a Buckeye everywhere around here. I tell no lies. Okay. I tell no lies. All right. Bree, salutes to you, Bree, as well. Bree says defamation of character. You too, Bree. You too. Wow. Listen, I can prove this, okay? Blog Talk worked, so I can prove everything that I'm saying, okay? It's all right. It's all right, It's all right. Just know I got proof, okay? So, yeah, we have a lot of fun here. We have a blast. During the season, we also watch games together as well, and we have a lot of fun doing that too. And then after the game, the live watch-alongs usually have a radio show directly after it. And we have a lot of fun doing that. So please get involved with everything that I'm doing over here. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and get involved, man, with what I'm doing. I'll also game on this channel. I'll let y'all know when I'll be gaming again. My schedule it's crazy. So yeah, if you catch your boy playing Street Fighter or something like that, drop on in and say what's up. You know what I'm saying? Have a blast. Bree said defamation of character. Bree. Defamation of character. I have proof. I have proof of my claims. Okay. So, yeah, we have a lot of fun. Get involved with everything that I'm doing here. And, come check everything I'm doing out over here with your boy. Oh, also, this is a 2-hour show. Okay. Some people, man, be like, Joe, listen, it's a 2-hour show. Okay. Starts at 7 p.m. Eastern and it ends, 2 hours after that. All right. So please get involved. Okay. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Rusty, I see you in the building. Always good to see you. Bree, always good to see you in the building as well. All right. Michael Piper, salutes to you as well. Always good to see you in here. Outlaw, salutes. Sean Bennett, salutes. All right. Salutes to everybody, man, that came on by, said what's up to your boy. I appreciate y'all, man. And it's, again, to all the callers as well. All right. Dano, salutes. Always good to see you in as well. All right. Kevin, always good to see you in the building too. GVH, I see you. All right. Always good to see you in here. Bernard Nixon, always good to see you in the building as well. Abby Fresh, I see you too. All right. Salutes to everybody, man. E Manning, Prestige Shogun, salutes as well. Christopher Phillips, is always good to see you too, man. Salutes to everybody, man, that comes on by, says what's up to your boy. Again, the savages in the chat during the show, I come to y'all as well. Put your thoughts and your statements in the chat. All right. Or questions, I answer those as well. But again, I'm one man. I'm going through callers, and I will come to y'all. Okay, so I do that. All right, so please get involved. All right, so I got to get out of here because my schedule is crazy. Okay, I gotta go. All right, listen, be safe. Okay, be safe, folks. There's a lot of crazy things going on in this world, and I'm telling y'all, I don't know why they're happening, but please be safe out here, folks. Be safe. Sit down with your friends and your family, okay? Eat some good food, make some good meals, watch some TV together, and let the people that you love know that you love them, all right? It's important to me in my life. I hope it's important to you in yours, okay? Because it's getting wild out here. it's I don't want to go into it. This is YouTube. It's wild, and I just want y'all to be careful and just watch everything that's going on around you, all right? So until the next show, I'll let y'all know when we're going to have the next one, and we're going to have a lot more fun. So until the next one,